So this is the video for the week 6 lesson, which should be candy pumpkin towers. This is one of my personal favorites because I am an engineer and I love the engineering method, and this is their first real exposure to engineering and design and those types of things. So really, really important with this one is you really have to emphasize the science journals. I know I say that every week, but this is the perfect lesson for the science journals. You have a question. How do you make a tall tower out of these things? How do you get it to stay upright? Right? Prediction. Have them come up with some various answers and help them fill out their journals. And then they'll make plenty of observations and they'll have time to do a conclusion at the end. So this is the scientific method, is building, like thinking, building, seeing what worked, what didn't. Yeah, it's perfect. So just really make sure that you have all your kids filling out the science journals and really participating in that aspect. So for the lesson part of this week, what you're going to want to do is talk about design. Get them thinking about different structures that they know, their school, their home, maybe like the library or like their favorite restaurant, like things, places they go, things that they see that they're very familiar with. My students, the first time I taught second grade, were still pretty shy at this part of the semester. It was kind of a small class and they were all not very talkative. So I really struggled with getting them to answer questions. But with this lesson, getting them to talk about their own homes is really easy for them because they live there, they go there every day. They're usually really comfortable like explaining like, oh, we have a flat roof, or we have a slanted roof, or we have 2 floors in our house, or we have 1 floor in our house, like things like that. Like that's very, very comfortable territory for them. So just get them talking about things that they know, things that they see, compare different types of buildings, like see if they've ever been to like a big like skyscraper, or if they just have compare it to like their house or their school, because depending on their school could be pretty big. Um, so to get them thinking about different aspects of design, the different shapes that go into it, triangles, rectangles, stuff like that, and get them thinking about how different structures are strong. It would help if you could add some photos of different types of buildings that exist that are kind of funky looking, like different architecture eras. You don't have to get into the specifics of the era, but just like show them different types of buildings, like a skyscraper, or like a house with a flat roof as opposed to a house with like a triangle roof. Just get them to see different types of structures, because then that'll start to get their creative juices flowing, and once they start going at it and building their own towers, they'll have more ideas. So then when you break them up into groups, I would say no more than like 4 students in a group. Even that's kind of pushing it. I like to keep my groups smaller with most of my classes, because especially with something like this, it's really easy for one student to take over, and you want them all to be included and participate. So smaller groups are typically better because then there's fewer students to just like sit around and do nothing, and you can make sure everyone's participating. Make sure that they understand the goal. First time I ever taught this lesson, I got a couple of squares and that were like all separate, and they wouldn't put them together so they would have one big tower. I had a thing that was wide and short, and the point is to make something that's tall and strong, right? So really, really make sure that they understand what the goal is of building this tower. They want to build a tall and strong structure, and just one, because they'll all try to make their own, and you want it to just be one per group. But yeah, that's a lot of it. This is just about making sure that they're getting creative and they're thinking about design and they're thinking about building. Try to bring it back to like Legos or Lincoln Logs or whatever they used growing up, to build stuff, and just let them design and maybe give them a few pointers, help them out every once in a while. But for the most part, you can just give them an idea of what makes a building strong and let them just go for it. And then make sure again at the end you wrap it up by doing the observations and conclusion. You can kind of have them walk around, look at each other's structures so they can see which structures worked and why and what maybe they should have added to theirs. If you really want, what you could do is maybe stop them halfway through, let them look around, see what other people are doing, and be like, okay, now go back and finish yours, and maybe add some other stuff, maybe take away some stuff, maybe adjust things. There's a lot of different ways you can do this activity, and all of them are great. Just let the kids, just let them engineer. And yeah, and then make sure you do your observations and your conclusion at the end.